whether the plaintiffs have shown that the four factors for establishing a TRO have been met in this case. And after reviewing the motions before the court, the arguments made by the parties at this hearing, the public health order signed by the Secretary of New Mexico Department of Health, the Executive Order 2023-130, and the applicable law regarding restrictions on the public carrying of firearms, the court will grant the plaintiff's motion for a temporary restraining order and will temporarily enjoin the defendants from applying and enforcing Section 1 of the New Mexico Department of Health's Public Health Emergency Order, issued on September 8, 2023, and Section 4 of the New Mexico Department of Health's Public Health Emergency Order, issued on September 8, 2023, to the extent that Section 4 imposes additional restrictions on the carrying of firearms that were not already in place prior to the issuance of the public health order.
Certain governors across the country just went into a quiet space and said, damn it. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box. And if you like my channel, like my content, and what I do here, you can support me with a link in the description box. Everything is appreciated. Let's talk about this. And in the continuing saga of what's going on out there in New Mexico, with Governor Grisham there, basically implementing a 30-day ban on the concealed carry or open carry of firearms, we have a next step. Of course, lawsuits were filed as discussed, and a judge, David Urias, he's actually, if I understand correctly, he's a Biden appointee, has basically put a temporary restraining order on the ban for 14 days. Now, you heard a little bit of the audio clip, which I was lucky enough to get because that was really tricky. But I just want to come over to here because the backlash had grown exponentially against this governor and her order. It's almost like she was standing alone with this order. Her attorney general basically said, I'm not going to enforce it.
But fundamentally, I don't think it passes constitutional muster and is likely to be struck down by one of the judges who are set to hear these cases.
Sheriffs across the county said we're not going to enforce it,
including Bernalillo County Sheriff John Allen, APD Chief Harold Medina, Bernalillo County DA Sam Bregman, and the latest, the New Mexico Chiefs of Police Association.
A better place to start would have been for the governor to address the problem of pretrial release of people charged with violent crimes using a gun. In other words, we could hold people accused of crimes accountable rather than citizens with a Second Amendment right to possess a firearm.
But what is now happening is this judge has jumped in and it's interesting how the judge, he cited Bruen, he cited McDonald, he cited Heller in his decision to put the temporary restraining order in place to block enforcement of the carry ban law, or public health order. Let's be very clear on that. Now, I want to come over to here and just basically get us some context here, but this is from a local affiliate. But judge temporarily blocks New Mexico governor's order suspending right to carry firearms in public. A federal judge granted a temporary restraining order against New Mexico Governor Michelle Grisham's order suspending the right to carry firearms in public in and around Albuquerque. We know a lot of this, but the Democratic governor issued last Friday a 30-day suspension of open and concealed carry laws in Bernalillo County, where Albuquerque, the state's most populous city, is seated. The move was met with pushback from gun rights groups, seven of which filed lawsuits seeking to block the order, NAGR being one of the leaders. At least 4 lawsuits have been filed in federal court with the Gun Owners Foundation, National Association for Gun Rights, and We the Patriots USA among the various plaintiffs. Who also filed a lawsuit was also the Republican Party.
The Republican Party of New Mexico will drop tomorrow the lawsuit against the governor somebody has to be a voice for the people, and we will do that. We're here for maybe the most important issue of our lifetime. The issue is one person above the law. I think we're here with the demonstration that no one is above the law. Our lawsuit doesn't just deal with, again, the guns. It's going to deal with her ability to use these health orders and executive orders. Do you hear what she's saying? That gun violence is a health problem, and she has now invoked an executive order based on a public health order. That is not the right to take away anybody's freedom. It is not the right to abridge any constitutional provision, and we are going to take that. It's a very difficult case that our lawyer has said, but that is where we are headed.
But during a motion hearing Wednesday afternoon in Albuquerque on the case, a judge granted a temporary restraining order blocking enforcement of the governor's ban until October 3rd. Now, the ban goes until October 8th, so I'm assuming they're going to have another hearing on the 3rd. But according to ABC Albuquerque affiliate KOATV, the ruling cited that the governor's order directly conflicted with the Second Amendment, according to Senate Republican leader Greg Baca, who applauded the judge's ruling. Okay, so there's the context that we need, but we're going to go ahead and come out of that. Now, a lot of the pushback has been coming from fellow Democrats, which is interesting. But for me, it's kind of eyebrow raising. What is really going on here? One county in one state. Now, trust me, and I said this before, governors across the country were watching this, they're still watching this probably very, very closely, because they're waiting to see if they can pull off the same game. Declare some sort of emergency, declare some kind of epidemic, and then shut down the Constitution based on that ideal. But realize what this judge has done. He has prevented this from spreading like a wildfire across the country. Think about certain states: Oregon, California, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. The governors would immediately pull out their pen and paper and scribble up some public health order to then suspend the Constitution in the, under the guise of some murky public health issue. So this judge has basically stopped them from doing so. But now these anti-gun zealots that we know have historically are anti-gun are coming out against this governor. And it's very interesting because you know these people, David Hogg, for example, all of a sudden saying, well, there's no public health exception to the Constitution. Oh, really? If Hogg had his way, he would literally take every single gun from every single home. We know this. So why is he saying this? Because they're trying to shift the narrative. They're trying to make a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines seem reasonable to a majority of the country, because what this governor did is so extreme. What this governor did is just insane. So now they can turn around and say, well, then a ban on so-called assault weapons and high-capacity magazines won't sound so crazy to the majority of the populace. That's exactly what they call the Overton window. This is what's happened here. They made this, and so another YouTuber kind of talked about how they made this governor a sacrificial lamb to this ideal, possibly. But you got to realize that there's something, always see the forest, not the trees. There's always something else going on, because she said it right from the beginning when she signed this order that it's not going to pass constitutional muster. So if you know that, why sign it? Why do it? And don't tell me some righteous ideal of saving children from a governor who thinks that abortion is, once again, healthcare. No, it's all about pushing the narrative and shifting it more further to make something that we consider extreme now seem more moderate later. So kudos to this judge. We'll see where this goes from there, because like I said, this thing only goes until October 3rd. The ban is ends October 8th. So we gotta, once again, just see where we're going from here. But it does put a stay on other governors trying to pull the same game. And that's important, because a number of them were lined up to do it. So we will definitely stay on top of this, because this right here is huge news when it comes to not just so much the Constitution, but the freedoms of the individual across the board. Okay? So, once again, see the forest, not just the trees, because there's a lot going on here. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.